Get ready. JustProfessor here. You don't remember learning to walk. You don't remember your third birthday. You don't remember most of your early childhood at all. And it's not because nothing important happened. It's because your brain erased it. On purpose. And you have no idea why. This is childhood amnesia, and it's one of the strangest things your brain does. You lived through years of experiences, emotions, and discoveries as a kid, but almost all of it is gone. Your brain recorded it and then deleted it without asking permission. And the weird part is, you think this is normal. You think everyone just forgets their early years. But what if those memories aren't actually gone? What if they're still in there, locked away, shaping who you are without you knowing it? So what is childhood amnesia? It's the fact that you can't remember anything before age 3 or 4, and you barely remember anything before age 7. You have maybe a handful of memories from when you were really young. A birthday party. A vacation, something scary. But most of your early childhood is just blank. And it's not because your memory is bad. It's because your brain wasn't designed to store long-term memories back then. Here's why this is so strange. You were alive. You were learning. You were experiencing the world for the first time. Everything was new. Everything was intense. You learned to talk, to walk, to understand people. You formed attachments. You felt fear and joy and confusion. But your brain decided none of that was worth keeping in a way you could consciously remember later. This creates a massive gap in your sense of self. You know you were a kid. You've seen photos. You've heard stories. But you don't actually remember being that person. It's like someone told you about a character in a book, and now you're supposed to believe that character is you. You accept it because everyone says it's true. But deep down, there's a disconnect. You don't feel connected to that version of yourself because you have no memory of it. Childhood amnesia also means your parents remember your early years better than you do. They were there. They were adults with fully functioning memory systems. So they have stories about you that you can't verify. And sometimes those stories shape how you see yourself, even though you have no personal memory of the events. You believe you were shy or outgoing or difficult or easy based on what they tell you, but you're trusting their memory, not your own. Here's where this gets complicated. Just because you don't consciously remember your early childhood doesn't mean it didn't affect you. Your brain was still forming. Your personality was developing. Your fears and preferences were being shaped. All of that is still in there somewhere. It's just not accessible as explicit memories. So you're walking around influenced by experiences you can't remember. And that's kind of terrifying. Think about it. Maybe you're afraid of dogs and you have no idea why. Maybe you feel uncomfortable in certain situations and you can't explain it. Maybe you have habits or reactions that seem random. There's a good chance some of that comes from your early childhood. From experiences your brain recorded but then made inaccessible. So you're carrying around the effects of memories you can't see. Childhood amnesia happens because your brain was still under construction back then. The part of your brain that stores long-term memories, the hippocampus, wasn't fully developed. It was working but not well enough to create the kind of stable, retrievable memories you form as an adult. So the experiences you had as a toddler got encoded differently. They might have influenced you, but they didn't get filed away in a way you could pull up later. Your brain was also growing so fast that new neurons were constantly being created. And weirdly, that actually interferes with memory. All those new neurons were great for learning new skills. But they disrupted the existing memory networks. So even if your brain tried to store a memory, it might have gotten overwritten or lost in all the neural changes happening at the same time. There's also a theory that memory requires language. And when you were really young, you didn't have much language. You couldn't narrate your experiences to yourself. You couldn't label your emotions. So the memories you formed didn't have the structure needed to last. They were raw sensory experiences without the words to anchor them. And without that anchor, they faded. But here's the thing. Some childhood memories do stick. You probably remember something traumatic, or something extremely happy. Or something that got repeated over and over. Those memories survived because they were either emotionally intense or reinforced so many times that they got locked in. But everything else, all the normal everyday moments, got erased. This is why your first clear memories are often from around age 7 or 8. That's when your hippocampus was developed enough to create stable memories. That's when you had enough language to organize your experiences. That's when your brain slowed down its growth just enough to let memories stick. Before that, everything was too chaotic. Your brain was too busy building itself to worry about remembering what it was building. So what does this mean for you now? It means there's a version of you that you'll never know. A version that existed for years but left almost no trace in your conscious memory. And that version shaped the person you became. Your fears, your attachments, your instincts, they all started forming back then, but you can't go back and check. You can't review those years to understand yourself better. They're just gone. It also means your sense of identity is incomplete. You think of yourself as the sum of your experiences, but a huge chunk of your experiences are missing. You start your self-narrative from around age 7 or 8. Everything before that is secondhand. It's stories other people told you. It's photos you've seen. It's not your actual memory. So in a way, you're building your identity on a foundation you can't see. Some people find this unsettling. They want to know what they were like as a toddler. They want to remember their early years. But you can't. No amount of effort will bring those memories back because they not stored in a way your adult brain can access. They might be in there in some form, influencing you unconsciously, but consciously they're gone forever. And maybe that's okay. Maybe your brain erased those memories for a good reason. Maybe holding on to every single experience from your early childhood would be overwhelming. Maybe your brain needed to clear space for new memories. Maybe it's better to start fresh with a clean slate once you're old enough to actually make sense of the world. But it's still strange. You lived through years of life that you have no memory of, and those years matter. They shaped your brain. They influenced your development. They set patterns that you still follow today. And you're walking around completely unaware of how much those invisible years are still affecting you. So how do you deal with childhood amnesia? You can't get those memories back. But you can recognize that your early years still matter, even if you don't remember them. You can be curious about what shaped you. You can ask your parents or caregivers what you were like. Not to create false memories, but to understand the context of your development. You can also accept that some of your fears, preferences, and habits might have roots you'll never fully understand, and that's okay. You don't need to remember everything to move forward. You just need to recognize that you're more than the memories you can access. You're the sum of everything you've experienced, even the parts you've forgotten. Look, childhood amnesia is a reminder that your brain is not a perfect recording device. It's selective. It's messy. It erases huge chunks of your life without asking. And that means the story you tell yourself about who you are is incomplete. You're missing the first few chapters, and those chapters are gone for good. But maybe that's not a tragedy. Maybe it's just part of being human. You don't get to keep everything. You don't get perfect recall of your entire life. You get fragments. You get pieces. And you build your identity from those pieces, knowing that there's more to your story than you'll ever remember. So the next time you try to remember your early childhood and come up blank, don't feel bad. Your brain wasn't broken. It was just busy growing. And the fact that you can't remember those years doesn't mean they didn't matter. They shaped you. They made you who you are. You just can't see how. Subscribe if you just realized how much of your life you've completely forgotten.